All right. And we're live. New episode of the Fundamentally Sound podcast. Welcome, everybody. We have long time, at this point, it's almost permanent guest, Drew Brummer here. Yeah, doing what he do, you know what I'm saying? But we have a first-time guest. My guy. Let me give him an intro real quick. So this man right here, he goes to A&M, right? He's a big dog out in these streets, But no, he goes to A&M. We interned together down in Corpus in the marketing department. Fun times, great times. We spent a lot of time together. Daniel Sleeve, my boy. I'm so happy you can be on here. You are one of the greater. I'm not gonna say greatest, because sports mind that I have ever had the privilege of knowing, and I'm including myself because I know myself. You know what I'm saying? But but do you want to give yourself anything I miss? You want to give yourself a little shout out?
You hit all the bases. One of the best sports minds in the game. No, I'm just playing. But I'm happy to be on here with you guys. NFL draft season is when I thrive, so I'm really excited to chop it up with you guys and share some thoughts about mock drafts and team fits. So I'm pumped.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Just for those who don't know, it was supposed to be John, but he said that he was feeling under the weather yesterday, so he did not have enough time to do a lot of research on his mock draft. So therefore, I hit up equally as great Daniel here. But with that being said. Hold on, wait. Let's pause that real quick. Okay, sorry. I'm trying a new thing. Having Facebook set up on my computer. We'll see what happens. But without further ado, we got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get right into it. First round, NFL mock draft, pick number 1, going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. No shocker. They're probably going to be here for a little while. No surprise. Trevor Lawrence all around, yes?
Yes.
All right. I mean, we really don't need to get into that.
Austin, before we keep going, are we talking about how we're doing the little mock draft point setup of our?
No, that's all you, Pony. I left that up to you. Yeah, go ahead. Explain.
Anyways, us three have come up with our mock drafts for the NFL draft, and we're kind of playing like a quick fantasy game to see who's predicted it correctly. Now, obviously, with trades and mock drafts and everything, you can't predict all of that correctly. So, essentially, if you pick the pick correctly, you get a point, duh. But let's say that you have, my team's the Cowboys. So Cowboys at 10, they happen to trade up to the 5th pick or something like that. Well, if at my 10th pick, I had that player and they pick them at 5, I still get that correct. But then consequently, if my 10th pick is some random player and teams trade out of it or whatever, and it's still at that 10th spot, you still get it correct. So we're kind of giving the benefit of the doubt on both sides. So it's either the number or the team that you've slotted in. Both will be correct. So it kind of helps you out if you have a quarterback going to a certain team because their quarterback needs, or just one player happens to slot in that same number. So before we get going, that's how it's done.
Yeah, and I will tweet out the results. I will put it on Facebook. I will, whatever kind of platform I want to put it on, I'm putting it on. So, with that being said, I just want to let it be known, Daniel's a Houston Texas fan.
It's an unfortunate time to be a Houston Texans fan right now. I'll leave it at that.
Who has your draft pick? Well,
our first draft pick is the 3rd pick of the 3rd round, so not a ton of fun for me until Friday.
So y'all traded with what was the other team again?
That was Miami.
You're right.
Yes.
Right.
We gave up 2 firsts and a 2nd for Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills. Kenny Stills is no longer on the team. Laramie Tunsil was supposed to protect Deshaun Watson, in which he has done a very good job, but there's obviously the Deshaun Watson stuff going around. So, the future of the Houston Texans looks very bleak at the moment.
We ended up getting 3 first-round picks because of Laramie Tunsil. I think
Yeah,
it was 2
yeah.
second-round picks, 2 third-round picks or something like that, and then I think it was like a 6th or like a second. I
You
can't
are a
remember the
Dolphins
exact-
fan. You are
I
a Dolphins.
am a Dolphins fan. You're dang
Yes.
right, I'm a Dolphins fan. But
I've got
yeah,
I've got some good fits for you guys.
well, I sure hope so because
Yes.
that I want to just get into it on 18. I've heard multiple reports that it is not going to be an O-line on the thing. I just saw that on Twitter earlier. I'm just saying. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But without further ado, since everything's been explained, first pick, first round, Jacksonville Jaguars. Like I said, no surprise, Trevor Lawrence, 100%.
Next.
It's a formality.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Zach Wilson, second. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
agree. I mean, this is what we think will happen. I think Fields
Right.
is the second best quarterback in this draft, Justin Fields. But Zach Wilson's the guy for the Jets. Once his shoulder checked out, we can put those two in pen at this point.
Yeah, without a doubt. I agree with you. I think Justin Fields is number 2 as well. Same with you, Drew, right?
No,
No?
I think that Zach Wilson has that upside to be a Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes because of the gunslinging ability to whip it. But also at the end of the day, I don't think it really matters because if you put a quarterback, any of the quarterbacks in at the Jets, they're not going to have as much like output on the field as any of the other. I mean, Falcons, right? They have a better offense. You
Yeah.
put any of these quarterback, you can put the 4th best quarterback in there. They're going to win
Right.
the offensive rookie MVP over Wilson. So Fields, we'll get into that later. I don't even know how to judge him
I
anymore.
will say with the Jets, though, Robert Salah coming from the 49ers, he took a lot of the 49ers offensive staff with him. And I can't think of a better coach to learn under right now
True.
than Kyle Shanahan. And so Mike McDaniel is their new offensive coordinator. I think he's going to be able to put together a really good group. And it'll take some time just because they're so talent depleted on the offensive side of the ball. But I think the Kyle Shanahan tree is going to be one that grows a lot and is going to be successful in the NFL. So hopefully Zach Wilson's career is not a waste in New York because I do think he's a very exciting guy.
They just got to get him protection. Sam Darnold didn't have protection at all. He didn't have any protection. He had no weapons. They set that man up for failure, and it's so sad to see it. But, I mean, he's in a good situation with Carolina. I mean, they have a decent, at best, O-line, and they have weapons in Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey. I think he's looking for a bounce back here, to me, in my opinion. But moving on to the third, I have Mac Jones, and Drew, you do too, right? Yeah,
I do.
Yep.
I do as well. I mean,
Okay.
I think we've heard too many reports on Mac Jones for it to not be true.
Right.
This would be the ultimate smokescreen if it's not Mac Jones.
Right. I think they really fooled everybody because, I mean, betting numbers jumped on Mac Jones. Everybody's now seemingly expecting Mac Jones, even though I severely do not like that. I think if
disagree.
anything-
You could have had him at 12. You could have stayed where you were.
Yeah.
You could have him at 12.
Exactly.
Maybe even
Preach.
traded up to 10, but all the way up to three first-round picks. This is my thing with Mac Jones. When Adam Schefter says something, I'm like, it's a wrap. He said, I think a couple weeks ago, he said, it's a wrap. Like, I'd be surprised if Mac Jones doesn't end up in San Francisco. And Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch just had a press conference either today or yesterday. And it was pretty much along the lines of, we're going to pick the guy that's best for us. And all that type of jargon just leads us to believe Mac Jones, which, I mean, you take any quarterback, you put in Kyle Shanahan offense, that's fine.
Right.
He'll be good. But to pass on the potential of Justin Fields, who's more refined right now, played more games, more athletic, bigger arm, more potential. I just think the league is really going to regret what they do to Justin Fields, especially if he lands on a team. If Bill Belichick gets his hands on Justin Fields, that's going to extend his career like 10 years, and it's just going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare.
So let me ask y'all, and I'll start off with Drew. So it's obvious, the reports have came out that Trey Lance is the second option. It's not Justin Fields, it's Trey Lance. It would be the second, potential candidate. You know what I mean? Who do you like more, Trey Lance or Mac Jones? And why? And who do you think fits better in that system?
Well, who fits better is 100% Mac Jones.
Okay.
Just because the 49ers are stage right now to like they just need an average quarterback to do their thing. I mean, they made it to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, and they're wanting to basically get rid of him. Like,
Right.
we all understand that the move that they are making is not smart from a general manager standpoint to give up everything to move up to 3 to get rid of a quarterback that's basically as the same as Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But Mac Jones is the most NFL ready. Trey Lance is the opposite of that. He hasn't played last year, right? Like, he has the highest ceiling. You know, a lot of people say that. Like,
He
but
could have the highest.
could have. I mean,
Yeah.
you could maybe offer, you know, Fields or even Trevor Lawrence could be the highest ceiling. But anyways, Mac Jones is 100% a better fit. I actually think that I would rather pick Mac Jones if I was the 49ers and it was only between those two just because of their situation. And Trey Lance is more of a wild card. He could not hit. And I think I would probably rate Mac Jones higher than Trey Lance. I'm not as high. But, I mean, Trey Lance is still a good quarterback. It's just the different team. So that's just my opinion on kind of the whole situation.
John says that he has Fields, or he says that he thinks that it'll be Fields at 3. I don't know. I don't think that that's even a possibility. Maybe he's.
I
just
think it
trying
could
to,
be.
Maybe he's
but I
just
just don't
trying
think
to
it
like
will.
throw some like comedic relief in there. I don't know, but you never know with John. By the way, John, do your mock draft so we can, so at least we can track. You have all these next 2 days. It's not until Thursday, and you even have most of Thursday. So just do your mock draft, and then that way you can be in the competition as well. But Daniel, same question to you.
Yeah, so I'll say when you make an investment like this, 3 first-round picks, this isn't a decision for the next 2 years. This is a decision you make for the next 15 years. If I'm looking at the career trajectory of Mac Jones and Trey Lance right now, I agree with Drew. Mac is a little bit more NFL ready right now. Trey's more of a raw prospect with all the athletic tools. But if I was a 49ers fan, God forbid, I feel like they're going through it right now.
They're going through the loops,
with all the rumors.
man.
But
Oh.
I was a 49ers fan, and we couldn't take Justin Fields because John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are smoking something. I would prefer Trey Lance in the long run, just because, you know, Mac Jones will be more ready year 1. This is a fact. But we get to year 2, we have a second full offseason with Trey Lance. All of your main guys, we're looking at Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. Those guys are all still going to be on rookie contracts. You just gave Trent Williams that big deal. Jimmy Garoppolo's deal is off the books. You don't have any more dead money. I think year 2, Trey Lance could be better than Mac Jones, and every year after that. So it's not like a 1 year, like, oh, Mac Jones is taking us to the Super Bowl this year. I don't think that happens. And with that in mind, you look at the ceiling of both guys. I think Trey Lance can really grow under Kyle Shanahan, even in the second year of the offense. I would prefer Trey Lance.
Okay. And you can make arguments for both. I'm not
Yeah,
even saying
of course.
that I'm leaning one way or the other. Honestly, we all lean completely away from both of them. So you can just make cases for both. And I agree with both of y'all. Now moving on, pick number 4, the Atlanta Falcons. Now, myself and Drew, because I can see Drew's as well. Drew, you okay with me talking for you, or would you like to make your own selection? I mean,
No, I mean, once we get to, in my opinion, like pick 7, I think that's when we can start talking. Because unless there's any curveballs starting the draft off, I think we kind of have some things going.
yeah.
And then from there, if there's a curveball, I think just dominoes are just going to fall.
Okay. But we have Kyle Pitts going to Atlanta. Do you have anything different, Daniel?
I do. So,
okay.
Actually, Kyle Pitts even came out today and said, I don't know if you guys saw this, on NFL Network. He said initially the Falcons seemed to be very interested at his pro day, which was March 30th. And now a couple of weeks later, he's saying, I think they've lost a lot of interest. I think it's going to be a quarterback at number 4. Now, do I think the Atlanta Falcons take a quarterback? The answer is no. Matt Ryan is only 35 years old. If we look at what Arthur Smith did in Tennessee to revive Ryan Tannehill's career, I think Matt Ryan can have a very similar type of year under Arthur Smith. And it's not even a revival because Matt Ryan, I mean, we're just throwing this guy under the bus. We've seen guys play into their 40s, and he hasn't had any severe injuries. He hasn't had any severe drop-off in arm strength.
Right.
I think they say, let's run it back one more time with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones. I know there's trade rumors around him, but I think he sticks around. Let's run it back one more time, add some depth. So I have the Falcons trading back, the Patriots trading up from
Ooh.
taking Justin Fields. And I say this, I think whatever team wants Justin Fields has to come up to the Falcons pick, because you look at Cincinnati, Miami, Detroit. They're not in the market for a quarterback. But any team, you look at the Broncos, you look at
Carolina,
Washington, any of those guys could come up to 5, 6, or 7, and all 5, 6, and 7, Bengals, Dolphins, Lions, are looking to trade back. So my thing is, if you want to secure Justin Fields, you have to come up to number 4, because someone can come up to number 5 or number 6, and then you've been like, let's say you trade with the Dolphins, but then someone comes up and trades with the Bengals. Mm-hmm. So you traded up for nothing essentially, and that all happens really fast on draft day. You sort of know what's going on, but I think if you want Justin Fields, you have to come up to number 4. I think that's where he comes off the board. So that's what I have. New England Patriots taking Justin Fields at number 4.
Wow.
And see, we didn't do trades. It would have gotten really, really complicated.
Yeah, I've got 3. I think I've got 3 trades in here,
and it makes total sense. Like what you just said, it's 100% possible. Carolina trading their pick could be 100% possible. Denver trading their pick could be 100% possible. Detroit trading their pick at 7 could be 100%. That was the biggest, like the toughest thing for me, because we didn't do any trades. I didn't know who they were going to go for, because I'm 100% predicting that they're going to trade back. But so it's like that's where it starts to get kind of like dicey, because like I didn't like who I put there, and then that's where it just the old brain starts doubting the mock draft. But we just decided not to do trades. You can do trades, that's fine, that's 100% fine, because obviously you weren't on the last show, you weren't ready. This was a last minute thing, so I'm completely fine with it, and that was a cool trade. Drew, any words?
No, I like that a lot. I think the Patriots are going to take a quarterback. I just don't know how willing they are to get up there and what their order is, because Belichick he's got a system, and he's got something that we don't know what he's drinking. So,
and historically, he doesn't trade up. You know what I mean? So that would make it even more interesting, to be honest.
Historically, he trends on trading backwards, but also historically, if you look at his free agency, he doesn't get involved in free agency, and this year they just went absolutely nuts, giving money to average guys at best. So I think Belichick, quite honestly, it's crazy to say because he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, he's a little bit rattled right now. I think he's breaking trends that he normally hasn't. Brady's gone. I'm not saying Brady was the reason for all their success. It goes both ways. Sure. But I think this is the year Bill Belichick sort of breaks the mold a little bit, comes up, gets his guy that falls perfectly in the year that he needs a quarterback, and I do think it's Justin Fields. But we'll see what happens there.
Okay. All right, going on. Cincinnati. Drew and I, once again, we're pretty – this is where it stops, though. After this pick is where it kind of gets here and there. But, oh, wait, actually, no. After
One more.
Two more. But anyway, Penei Sewell, that's who we got. You have anything different?
Yes. So that is what I would do.
Chase?
I would go with Penei Sewell, but I've seen a lot of local reports out of Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is the only guy that's ever wanted to go to Cincinnati. He was excited to be drafted there. He's kind of got some pull. No, that was literally a real report. I'm not making it up. But
no, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, so I think he's got a little bit of influence and pull there. I think they pulled the trigger on Jamar Chase. I think they feel comfortable with what they did in free agency to address the offensive line. They added Quentin Spann from the Bills. Jonah Williams gets another year because they took Jonah Williams, number 11 overall, 2 years out of Alabama 2 years ago to be their left tackle. So I'm not too keen on moving Sewell to the right side just because, I think he has all pro potential on the left side. But I think Burrow has a lot of pull here. I think they want to keep him happy. It doesn't hurt to add another weapon. Jamar Chase is the guy for me here at number 5.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but kind of midway through the whole draft process, they actually said that Sewell's training to be a left guard.
Yeah, I did see that.
So that's why I have him there. Because, if you put Sewell and Williams on that left side, that is a dangerous left side.
Yeah, I've seen Sewell trading at right tackle, left tackle, and at guard. I don't see why you'd put a 20-year-old stud at guard. I don't think he would like that. That could create issues. But
who knows?
I have the run on quarterbacks kind of has some of the elite offensive linemen falling in my draft, but Sewell doesn't
Oh,
come
yeah.
off the board until a little bit later.
Okay. Makes sense. Moving on. Number 6, Drew and I have Jamar Chase. I'm not disagreeing with your Jamar Chase pick with the Bengals because the chemistry between him and Burrow is clear. Obviously, they won a championship together. So it's very possible. This one was just kind of my personal preference. I want Chase so bad. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anyway, who do you got? Who do you guys?
I've got Pitts. I've got Pitts coming off the board at 6. I don't think he can last any longer than that. If we're looking for a weapon, I think he's the best weapon in this draft class, bar none. He's ridiculous. He's just people keep calling him a unicorn. I'm like, that's probably the best word to describe him. So.
And me being the Dolphins person I am, so I don't know if y'all know, but people are saying like, oh, we already have Gesicki, all this other stuff.
Oh, Pitts and Gesicki together? Are you kidding me?
Bro, Mike Gesicki played, what's it called? I think there was a ridiculous, it was like 44% of our snaps in the slot.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like Mike Gesicki would be fine. Just I'm cool with Pitts. I'm very cool with Pitts. Pitts is very solid. All right, I'm not mad at that draft selection either. Like those 3 guys right there, in my opinion, Penei, Pitts, Jamar, like 100% okay with. If I'm a Dolphins fan, or well, I am a Dolphins fan, but other Dolphins fans should be 100% fine with that. John was agreeing with you earlier whenever they were talking about the Pats being aggressive. He did say that in the comments. But moving on, Detroit. Drew and I have Devontae Smith.
I have Devontae Smith as well.
Okay. Oh, we agree.
Hey.
Marvin Jones gone. Kenny Golladay gone.
You gotta.
It's painful for me to say that they take a receiver in the top 10 just because they have so many holes on their roster. I just don't think there's a defensive player worth coming off the board here at number 7. They've got both tackle positions sort of figured out right now. So linemen aren't sort of in play for me right here. It's Devontae Smith for me, and I'm not concerned about his weight. He's an outlier.
Oh yeah, facts. What are y'all's thoughts on Micah Parsons? Do y'all think he's a top 10 pick if he plays this year?
I think that if it was another draft, he would have been a top 10 pick. But I think this draft, I mean, we've been talking about so many different names that, like, I think Kyle Pitts is going to be a generational type of player. Jamar Chase, if he didn't have the Alabama receivers behind him, would be that clear top tier guy. And then you'd be talking about the other, just how even like in running back, we're kind of like Najee Harris and then kind of some other guys, and then quarterbacks, we have like 5 of them that we're talking about picking. And that's all in the first round of just difference makers. Whereas a usual, draft, you would be like, okay, you got a quarterback here, you got that one wide receiver, and then you got all those defensive guys. I think he would have been a top 10 pick. I like him a lot. He's just one of those wild cards that he could be really, really good, or he could be a bust that you're taking really early.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think Parsons, for me, it's hard to justify taking an inside linebacker in the top 10 just for positional value purposes. We look at this draft. If 5 quarterbacks are going in the top 10, Penei Sewell is a generational talent. Jamar Chase is a generational talent. Kyle Pitts is a generational talent. This draft is so offensively stacked. I don't have my first defensive player coming off the board until number 10, and it's not Parsons. You also have to look at, does the league believe that his character issues are behind him? Because I know that that's been brought up a lot, and he's doing a lot to put those to bed. But at the same time, they know a lot more. Those teams know a lot more than we do about those types of situations and what he was involved in. So do I think he's a top 10 player? Yes. But there's too many just positional value, previous character concerns. But I think he's going to be a baller in the league, no doubt. But I have him falling a little bit.
Okay. Moving on, number 8. So here's where Drew and I first disagree. Right here, right now. Drew has offensive lineman from Northwestern, Rashawn Slater. And I have wide receiver from Alabama, Jalen Waddle. Now, what do you have? And I'll get Drew to break down his selection.
I have the Broncos trading up from number 9 to take Trey Lance. So they come up one spot to secure Trey Lance at number 8.
Yeah, I see. That's where I assume. I assume that Detroit and the Broncos will flip.
Will flip.
Eventually flip. Yeah, that's my opinion. That's where I think the trade will happen. But that, yeah, I can see that. Drew, you want to break down your selection?
Yeah, so I did 2 reasons for this. My first was very strategical. Strategical? Anyways, I was saying that I think Carolina is the most like volatile position. They could trade away, they could pick a quarterback, I mean, I don't think they're going to pick a quarterback, but they can do so many random things. And I almost didn't want to waste a player that I think will have a better spot somewhere else. So I kind of was like, Rashawn Slater is like, he could go anywhere, right? He's
Really
kind of
can.
that 1B, it's number 2 offensive lineman. I was like, let me put it at the Panthers. Looking at last year's draft of them going all defense and being very like, this is what we got to get. We get our player, we move on. I was like, okay, let me just throw something in there. They could get an offensive lineman for sure and just move on. But I wanted to save guys like Waddle and other positions for different spots. And then if someone does trade up, it's totally fine because I have those quarterbacks later on those teams that I think could trade up and get them. So that's just what I did. I don't really have much of a reasoning on that one because it's crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I have Waddle just because like I said earlier, and like you said, they went straight defense. First time ever. I don't know if y'all know that. First time ever.
All
that
7
happened.
picks.
Yep. But I just want to see Sam have some more weapons. I mean, like I said, their line's decent. You're not gonna change that with one draft. But Rashawn Slater's kind of like Tevin Jenkins. You don't know where he's gonna go. Tevin Jenkins is 100% toss up in the background, and he could even go to the second, like beginning of the second. You don't really know, but I fully believe that he's gonna go in the first round. But and Rashawn Slater's that guy that could go anywhere between 7 and like 14. Not really 14. I'd say it's like 7 to 11. 7 to 10. You have him at 13, huh?
Well, no, I don't have him at 13. I'm saying that's the range. I think
you said that's the cutoff. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
I agree a little bit more with Drew on the Slater pick to Carolina, just because you look at right now, Carolina's line, Taylor Moton franchise tagged at the right tackle position, Russell Okung coming back from injury at the left tackle position. If he comes back, I think Okung is on the back end of his career. Slater has that guard tackle versatility. He could start at guard, and then when Okung is done playing, he could transition over to tackle. I definitely and then Waddle, I mean, you can never have too many weapons, but you look at DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey. I will say they need a tight end, possibly a third receiver to replace Curtis Samuel, but they've got bigger needs for me than to take a luxury of going receiver in the top 10.
I just the reason that I look at it is because Jalen Waddle can very much play in the slot. I mean, he's just an absolute playmaker. And so I'm looking at it as, hey, look, we have Sam for 2 years. Let's just see if he's really that guy. You know what I mean? So let's really stack the box for him. If we don't find him here, or if he doesn't find it here, then we have a freaking loaded offense. Well, I mean, both DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson are both free agents next year. But, I mean, you can still load up after that. So let's just stack the box. Let's see what's up. If he's it, he's going to prove it this year. That's the only reason why I went in that direction.
I want to say one quick thing. I don't want to touch too much on this pick, but I actually disagree with you, Austin, respectively. Okay. Respect, cool. Whatever. Because I think that they're the type of team that's like, look, we're going to try to grind out games and have just the best players. We're going to win with defense. Like they did it last year with Teddy Bridgewater. They're kind of like rental guys. And so I don't think they're this like, let's just stack the box and throw all these. I think they're saying, look, we get a guy that's going to help us run a little bit more. Perfect. We're going to do that. If we're going to get a guy on defense for 7 picks in a row and we're going to try to, grind it out, get some wins, make it to the playoffs, people want to come here. That's just what I think personally. But yeah.
Okay. Moving on, number 9. Drew and I both have Justin Fields. Who do you got? Because I know you had a trade. So who do you got, Daniel?
So Panthers move back a spot and they get Penei Sewell, really good value at that pick, and he slots in at left tackle.
Very, very true. I like it. All right. Dallas. Now, I'm assuming, we had the same, and you said your first defensive player. I'm assuming we're all picking Patrick Surtain here, or
we are
what?
picking Patrick Surtain here.
Okay.
Best zone corner in the draft.
Exactly.
Dallas runs zone. It just
Yup.
makes too much. Dallas defense was awful. Secondary was bad. It just makes too much sense.
And
It's
Jerry's finally going to make a pick that's actually correct.
even though there's been reports about Kyle Pitts, but we're not going to get into
He's not
that.
going to
We're
get
not
that
gonna
far.
get
He's
in
not.
there.
He's
Yeah,
not.
there's no way.
Well, he was thinking about trading up. Anyways.
Yeah.
But this is so weird because, right, we have 1 guaranteed, 2 guaranteed, 3, pretty much like an 80 guaranteed. And then 4 through 9 is like, there's all these players. We see the fit of Jamar Chase could go with Joe Burrow, and maybe a Devonta Smith could go with Tua, or maybe, whatever you have. And then there's like this 10th pick, and it's like,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yo.
It's so weird to think
Yeah.
like we have this very guaranteed, like Dallas needs a corner. He has his best friend at Alabama who's right at the other corner, already in Dallas. And it's like the fit makes perfect sense to pick a corner there. I just love how it made my mock draft so much easy.
Yeah. I was talking to some of my Cowboy friends today, and I was like, they were like, who do you have the Cowboys taking? I was like, well, this one's actually one of my easier picks I made in the whole mock draft. I mean, Surtain right there. It makes too much sense.
Oh, yeah. So moving on, New York. This is where I have Rashawn Slater going because that offensive line is just abysmal.
Yeah.
And he should not be running that much. But anyway, Drew has Jalen Waddle. Once
I have
again.
Slater as well. I have Slater as well at number 11.
Okay. Drew, explain yourself.
I think it was tough. I think that right about here and maybe the Eagles pick is where wide receivers, whether it's Devonta Smith falls here or Waddle, it's like they're going to go within these top 12 picks. And just kind of the first 10 that I had, it was really tough with Slater either having them at that spot or putting something bold in the Panthers. But I think that the Giants, they definitely could take him. I think Waddle is a really good player, so I just kind of put him there. I didn't really have much thinking other than just I feel like he's going to go in that 1-2 range. But that's what I got.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to 12, Philly. So Drew went defense, corner. J.C. Horn from South Carolina. I think this is my toss-up pick of the draft, in my opinion. Trey Lance. Now Trey Lance has fallen.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you see.
no.
So look, I'll explain. But go ahead and who do you have, Daniel?
I've got Waddle coming off the board here. This is what the Rager pick. This is what they wanted Rager to be. Waddle comes off the board here for me. I like the J.C. Horn pick. I struggled to not take him here, but I think Jalen Hurts, not Trey Lance, is going to need some help at the receiver position. So went with Waddle.
You're
And
right.
the connection.
Yeah,
Yes.
very true.
Family
So
connection.
here's the thing. Here's why I chose this, right?
Boston.
No. So my opinion is that Philly does not like the Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a very short-term solution to a long-term problem. Now, they kind of showed that they were willing to commit to him, but let's be real here. They're not going to be happy with it. If they have a chance in this draft to get one of the Big Five, is what they're calling it, the Big Five. They have a chance.
Big Six.
Anyway, Big Five. Yeah, I guess you can include Kyle Trask in there. But anyway.
No. Kyle Trask is like maybe at the 8th spot looking in.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I knew where you were going with that. I hate you.
You talking about Mond?
Yeah, he is talking
Yeah.
about Mond because I hate
Yeah.
Kellen Mond without a doubt.
Yeah.
You should know that too. I talk so much trash to him all the time, even in Corpus. But so I just don't think they skip out. I don't think they skip out. If they have the choice, they move back. They were in that conversation of kind of doing their due diligence on the QBs until they moved back and they're like, all right, we're not going to get them. Doesn't matter. But whenever you look at it, do you really, really think deep down in your soul, because they just drafted a wide receiver last year, they don't get this man help at all. Their receivers are always the same. Always. So, I just don't see them breaking that trend if they have that very, very slight chance that Trey Lance is going to be there. John says that they go O-line or corner. I agree with that. I also agree with that. This is just my toss-up pick of the draft. This is
I
where
respect it.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
everybody has those, but yeah, that's just my toss up. That's my reasoning behind it, and I very much know that it's just very cringy. And you're like, why the hell are you doing this? That's why I just don't think that they are very confident with Hurts. But I'm very much in tune with the fact that I could be 100% wrong. Believe me. But
Pro
all right.
Football Talk just came out and said Dolphins prefer Jalen Waddle over Jamar Chase. Now, everything week of the draft is all smoke. Could be smoke.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's just something interesting I wanted to throw out there. I think if Pitts is still there at 6, it doesn't matter if it's Waddle or Chase, it's going to be Pitts. But something I saw pop up on my phone, thought I'd share.
We'll see.
Wow,
Okay. Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
That wait, real quick. I think a lot of people think Jamar Chase is 1. How do y'all rank them personally on your wide receivers 2, 3, 4?
2 through 4.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Daniel.
I have Devontae Smith at 1.
Oh,
I have Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, and then I think my 4th guy in this draft, I believe, is Rashad Bateman.
wait. You don't have Chase. It goes Devontae Smith,
Jamar Chase,
Waddle.
Jalen Waddle, and then Rashad Bateman at 4.
Okay.
So, what Chase is my number 1. So yes, 2 through 4 definitely has to go with. I personally think Waddle, then Devontae, then it's kind of hard. You go, Elijah Brown or Rashad Bateman. I'm just a fan of the big go get 'em receiver, so I'm gonna have to go Bateman at 4. So that's just me.
Yeah.
But moving on, Los Angeles. So Drew has the edge defender himself, Kwity Paye, and I have Christian Darrisaw.
I have Christian Darrisaw as well.
Look at that. All right, Drew. Odd man out. What's up? Why you
Prove
think they go
yourself.
this way?
Yeah. No,
yourself.
I think that they're just going to go for an edge defender. I think that they are happy with kind of Herbert. I know you could say you're happy, you want to give him that offensive line and really help him out, but I just think that the Chargers are more defensive oriented, and they really want to make sure that they just help him out. A lot of watching Herbert last year, it was run the ball, pass through play action. And I think they want to continue doing that, even though he is a gunslinger, but it's off of play action, deep pass. So I think defense goes with that style of run, play action. So as much as they are offensive focused with Herbert, it also helps them out getting a defensive edge rush, get them off the field, get the ball. So
I want to also add play action pass after sprinting for your life for 30 seconds. Yeah.
Well, he did do a lot of evasive things in the backfield, but I think that's just how I went.
Yeah, I understand.
And you have to consider Brandon Staley, new head coach, defensive guy. Obviously, they lost Melvin Ingram in free agency. I'm not sure he signed anyone else, but I think they've both kind of agreed that they're not going to re-sign there. So there is a need there at edge, but I just think you've got to protect your quarterback. You got to keep him upright. That's why I went with Darrisaw.
Very true, very true. Now, Minnesota, moving on, pick 14. This is where Drew went O-line, Elijah Vera Tucker, guard, I believe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. This is where I went Kwity Paye. I went Kwity Paye to the Vikings. Daniel, anything different?
I had Vera Tucker. I think I've seen this a lot. It makes a lot of sense. It allows Brian O'Neill, if you slide Elijah Vera Tucker in at guard, it allows Brian O'Neill to slide out to left tackle. I think the Vikings finally have their offensive line issues fixed. I just think that's how it shakes out. But I don't mind seeing Mike Zimmer take Kwity Paye.
Right, and it's the reason why I chose it is because we're so used to seeing that front four of the Vikings being so lethal, and last year they just did not have that at all. I mean, it was just a struggle for them, and edge is actually D-line in general. I think is just one of their needs. So to go D-line, I think is just my my personal preference, obviously. Not y'all's, but whatever. Without a doubt, Kwity Paye, best pass rusher, in my opinion, is the best pass rusher. Doesn't have the highest ceiling. I think that's Rousseau, but that's my opinion as well. Moving on, though, Number 15.
Ooh.
What?
I'm just saying this 15th pick is one of the most interesting things because not only
Very true.
do we have the Patriots locked in of where you pick, but also if someone trades back, who do they pick? It's interesting, the Patriots this year.
This is what I called the shit show pick because you don't know what's going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. Danny, who you got? And I'll tell you who we got.
So this was my Patriots obviously traded up to number 4, so Falcons are back at 15. Quiddy Pay comes off the board here.
Yeah.
I like that actually.
Yeah, very true.
I like that. I thought that was a good fit just because they have no pass rush whatsoever. The Vic Beasley experiment failed. I probably couldn't name another edge defender on that defensive end on that roster right now. So Quiddy Pay.
Okay. All right, now Drew, you have Mr. Lance from North Dakota State.
Yes.
I have J.C. Horn, quarterback of South Carolina. Pair up with his other boy from South Carolina, Stephon Gilmore. But I think no matter where you look at, if it's the Falcons trading back, you're hitting a need. If you're looking at Trey Lance, you're hitting a need. If you look at J.C. Horn, you're hitting a need. So I really don't see too big of a problem here. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody have any problems with these picks?
For Horn, I say if Patriots take Horn, Gilmore gets traded.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
I mean, he is done after this year.
Gilmore's been floated and talks a lot. If it's Horn, I think it's Gilmore's replacement, and he is a piece in a quarterback trade. Gilmore would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Drew, nothing? Anything?
The main reason why I did this was because I think the Patriots have two things. They trade up,
Yep.
which obviously helps make my mock draft correct. But then also, because they're the Patriots, we have no idea. This would be the only quarter, because I was between him and Fields, whether they trade up to get Fields. And I was like, this is the only quarterback that I think that if he did fall to 15 and the Patriots stay there, that they would snag him. And it's like they either trade up and get him, they could have him fall down. And so that's just kind of the reasoning behind making that in the point system that we have. But high ceiling, Patriots, Bill Belichick, you have no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Moving on to 16, Arizona Cardinals. Drew has Michael Parsons. Solid pick. Very good pick. I have Christian Barmore.
I have J.C. Horn coming off the board here.
Once again, I think they all feel
Defense.
needs. I think they all feel needs.
Defense.
Anywhere on that defensive side is it's a wreck for that team.
So,
Especially after Pat Peterson lost or is gone to the Vikings.
if you look at the Cardinals secondary right now, Drake Kirkpatrick and Malcolm Butler and Byron Murphy are slated to be their starting corners. So that tells you everything you need to know at this point in their careers. They were good at one time. Byron Murphy's a good young player, but Butler and Kirkpatrick, not the guys anymore. Horn comes off the board for me here. My only issue with the Michael Parsons pick is he took the same guy last year, Isaiah Simmons.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very
He
true.
just-
I did not think about that.
Yeah, I know. It was so tough to put, Micah Parsons anywhere because I feel like he's a player that is just, when you have someone with off the field stuff, you just have no idea. But they just need defense, and the Cardinals, you have no idea. They can go anywhere, but that's what I got.
All right. Fair enough. All right, moving on. 17, Vegas Raiders. Drew has Christian Barmore. I have Elijah Vera Tucker. This is where I have the fall. I know Vera Tucker is very much in that Vikings-Chargers conversation. I kind of had him falling a little bit. Daniel?
I've got Barmore as well.
Okay, yeah. We already talked about Elijah Vera Tucker. I don't need to again. Great guard, best guard in the class in my opinion. So y'all having Barmore, they already have the edge sort of solidified, sort of. Cleveland Farrell's just not it in my opinion.
He's not, and I at one point had Jason Owu come off the board here because I know the Raiders love their height, weight, speed guys on the edge, or just anywhere really. They're the Raiders, but
you just don't know. It's the Raiders. You just don't know. That's the thing.
My thing is they let Mo Hurst go. They've got no one on the interior. They signed some backup guys But I think everyone's saying the league is higher on Barmore just because this defensive tackle class is just so poor. So I
Yeah.
think, he comes off the board here. Just not that he's the best player available, but because it's at a position of need and it's a position that lacks depth.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, moving on. My boys, the Dolphins are picking again at 18. Drew has Zaven Collins, and I have Micah Parsons here. Now, I do have something to say about Zaven Collins, but go ahead, Daniel.
I have Tevin Jenkins coming off the board here. Makes perfect
knew
sense
that.
to me
I just had to-
because Tevin Jenkins played right tackle at Oklahoma State. Tua's a left-handed guy. Dolphins need a right tackle, blindside protector. Tevin Jenkins supposed to come off around this range. Makes too much sense to me. I tweeted about it this morning too.
Yeah.
I thought about it and I was like, wow, this makes so much sense.
So here's the thing with that. Immediately after they traded Eric Flowers, that means that Robert Hunt's not going to be kicking in to right guard. They have Robert Hunt. They got Solomon Kinley on the left guard, and they got Matt Skura in the middle. Pretty solid. I mean, the two guards kind of showed a little bit last year. I'm not going to say we're perfect situation, but we're definitely getting there. But they're looking to immediately afterwards. Could be smoke again. Could be smoke. Once again, it is draft week. Could be smoke. They are not looking for a tackle in this first round. They said that maybe later in the second round, that 50th pick definitely could go to a tackle, could go to or maybe to like they said a center. A lot of fan pages are saying a late center, maybe Creed Humphrey. Yeah, but there are multiple, like a bunch of reports that came out that said that they're looking to fill that right tackle slot with a free agent position. I just was kind of skeptical about it because, I mean, can you think of a right tackle right now as a free agent? Exactly. No. So that's why I'm not saying that you're wrong with the Tevin Jenkins pick. I've just seen so many reports that, like, it's not smokescreen. They're not going to go right tackle in the draft. But that's just those are my 2 cents. And with Zaven Collins, I think Zaven Collins doesn't even go in the first round. I think he's a top 5 pick in the second round. I just don't think he's good enough to be picked at 18. That's my opinion. You want to defend yourself, Drew, or what?
No, I had Mika already going. And honestly, as I was getting later on in this draft, I don't know too many of these guys. Just honestly, I'm just more offensive focused on stuff. And so
right.
I was just throwing some names out there. And I know that it's your team, so I felt bad just throwing in some guy or whatever because you were very opinionated on who you should pick. But later on in the draft, I wanted to have some fun and stuff.
Yeah, I hear you.
I like Zaven Collins in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
I like him at 18.
Oh, never mind. Not at 18. Not at 18. No, I won't agree with you there. No. All right. At 19, Drew has Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Koramoah, my fault. From Notre Dame. This is where I have the Caleb Farley drop stopping, and I think he goes 19 to what's it called? Even after all these concerns and everything, I still think he goes over Newsome. Without a doubt. I just think Caleb Farley's too good to pass up just because of, some injury concerns. I think the gap between Farley and Newsome is very big. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, Daniel, who you got?
I've got Micah Parsons coming off the board here. They absolutely need a linebacker. JOK is a good pick, but Parsons is better. He's still on my board. What I will say about Caleb Farley, injury concerns, these are not normal injury concerns. He's got problems with his back. 2 separate discs, 2 separate surgeries, missed his pro day. I will say he's the most athletic corner in the draft. And I say that full well knowing JC Horn and Patrick Surtain are absolute athletic freaks. I think Caleb Farley is the best technician. Not Caleb Farley. I think Greg Newsome is the best technician in this draft. I don't think there's a huge gap between him and Farley. I have Farley's slide ending a little bit later. Also have to consider William Jackson went to Washington in free agency. So they've kind of got Kendall Fuller and William Jackson bookends right there.
Think about that.
They really need a linebacker. So
you may be right there. I definitely kind of folded on that one. But all right, moving down, Chicago. This is where Drew has Tevin Jenkins going, and I have them going with Elijah Moore, wide receiver because I just think that they need all the help at wide receiver because Anthony Miller and whatever his name is on the other guy. I can't even remember the other guy's
Allen
name.
Robinson.
Allen Robinson.
No, not Allen Robinson. I'm talking like their wide receiver too. It's Anthony Miller and somebody else. I can't remember. That's the point. Is what I'm trying to
Darnell
make.
Mooney. They took him last year.
There you go, Darnell Mooney.
Darnell
yes.
Mooney.
Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that they need some fresh looks on offense. But also offensive line, 100% possible. Yeah. They have a terrible offensive line. Daniel?
I've got Rashad Bateman coming off the board here. I think he's the perfect Allen Robinson replacement, who I think will leave next year. Whether they just choose not to franchise tag him again or whatever it may be, I don't think he's happy in Chicago. I think he's out. Bateman and Mooney are a good pairing. So
okay, I understand. Makes sense. Indianapolis. Now, Drew, I was kind of confused here. I think they go edge. I think they go Jalen Phillips. You have Azeez Ojulari. Daniel?
So Colts notorious for trading back. I do have Jalen Phillips coming off the board here, but the Bills come up to take him.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah,
you think the Bills are going to pay?
I do think the Bills come up 9 spots here. I think Jalen Phillips is their guy on the edge. I think he's the best edge rusher in this class, just scratching the surface of his potential. He was a 5-star recruit. I think he initially committed to Florida State, then he was at Miami, worked his way back from injuries. Great. I think he comes off the board before Gregory, his teammate at Miami. I really like Jalen Phillips, and I think the league likes him a lot too. And I think Buffalo has a need. This could be their one guy between, them and a Super Bowl. So
yeah.
I think
I don't think he can finish. I just don't think he can finish. Like, it's the lack of sacks is very alarming. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Drew, would you like to?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of research, and I saw multiple mock drafts with him going there, so I picked him there.
All right.
I like Azeez. I like him in the first round. I don't think he goes before Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, exactly. I think he.
Or Gregory Rousseau.
I think he goes before Gregory Rousseau because of his tragic freaking pro day that he had. That thing was awful. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Moving down, Tennessee Titans. Drew's got Elijah Moore. I have Rashad Bateman. We both went receivers, so I think we're on the same mindset here. Daniel?
I went with Rousseau. Gregory Rousseau comes off the board here. They lost Clowney. They have no edge help. The Vic Beasley experiment failed. Harold Landry cannot produce on the edge by himself. Rousseau is the guy. They need an edge. They need an edge so bad. I think this is a really deep receiver class. You can get a guy at the bottom of the second round. I do love Elijah Moore, though. And I do have him coming off the board in this round, but not to the Titans.
Okay. Drew, anything? No?
No, I mean, I just think I wanted to have some fun, put some receivers. I really do like Elijah Moore a lot. I think there's some other names out there, and I just think he's a stud.
He's an incredible route runner. He really is.
Like, I understand he's an incredible route runner. I just like Bateman, and he's like really close to being put behind what is his name? I can't forget his name now. Dwayne Eskridge. He's really close to me behind Dwayne Eskridge because Dwayne Eskridge, I just saw some tape on him, and that guy, even though he played at Western Michigan, he's gonna be a sneaky like steal in my opinion in the second round. Yeah. That's just my opinion, but Elijah Brown's good. He's an excellent route runner. I'll say that. But 23 New York Jets, Caleb Farley for Drew, and this is where I have Gregory Newsome the second going. Daniel?
I have Farley coming off the board here.
Right.
Yeah.
Explain yourself, Austin.
I mean, we're all thinking the same thing. They need.
No, we weren't.
We're all thinking corners. Shut up. Anyway,
the Jets have 10 corners on their roster, and only one of them is a noteworthy name. So, Bryce Hall.
Oh, shut. Oh, my God.
They are
that's
absolutely
terrible.
awful at the corner position. It's got to be Farley or Newsome. I actually have Newsome coming off the board the next pick, so could go either way.
Okay, you're going Newsome. We went Najee Harris.
Yeah.
I think these Steelers are too smart of an organization to take a running back in the first round. On top of, they took Benny Snell. They took Benny Snell a few years ago, and they took guy from Maryland last year. I think his name is Anthony McFarland.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
So,
Junior.
I mean, I love Najee Harris.
Junior.
I don't think a good running back fixes your bad O-line problem. And if you look at their secondary right now, Joe Hayden is getting up there in years. He's the only guy that's really a good outside starter. They drafted Justin Lane last year, but he just got felony gun charges. They let Mike Hilton walk, and then there's Cameron Sutton. So, I mean, the Steelers secondary, especially outside corner position, is a mess. I think Newsome can go in there and play man right away and contribute. And it would be such a waste if they took Najee Harris at that pick because they have so many other needs.
You're not wrong, but I just don't see the Steelers being that smart. I don't. Yeah.
We'll see.
You're right. You know, they went Lane last year. I mean, let's be real though. When do the Steelers ever care about defense? This whole steel curtain thing is done. They don't care about defense anymore, in my opinion. Like,
well, I mean,
ever since like the drafting, but what's that?
I said edge rushers. They have invested big in a defensive
Very
line.
true. And linebackers, you're right. But
Yeah,
secondary
Devin
has been lacking.
Also, I
Fucking
think that they
shoveling.
are in a run it back type of mentality with Ben Roethlisberger.
Very
And
true.
at this point, it's kind of when Roethlisberger's over, I mean, you know,
I think
then
that
you got to really restart.
Roethlisberger's already over in my opinion. They brought him back one more year because there's no one better. You can't get a guy at 24. I heard they like Kyle Trask. I hope they don't pull that trigger.
I hope they don't pull
For
that.
their
shit.
They're not going to do that in
Oh
the first
my
round.
God.
No.
Oh
That's
my
what I
god,
was
that'd be
seeing today. I
terrible.
saw a report on that today.
I saw
but
it
I
too.
think
I saw it too.
They're just
yeah.
being courteous to Roethlisberger. I think you need to take a pick for the future here. I think it's Newsom, but we can move on.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, without a doubt. All right, Jacksonville. He's got Jalen Phillips is where he stops for Drew. I got Trevon. How do you say it?
Merrick.
Merrick. Trevon
I have
Merrick.
Trevon Merrick
That's a
coming off the board
dope
too.
last name. That is a dope last name, to be honest.
Yeah.
Drew, you just filling holes here?
Yeah, I almost went with your guy Trayvon, but I just fill in a hole, and he's from Miami, so I was like, oh, there you go, Jacksonville.
My only problem with the Phillips pick here, one, I don't think he's on the board. Two, but if he is on the board, we took Caleb on Chasen last year. We've already got Josh Allen on the other side.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for Jalen Phillips to start.
Yeah.
Unless you want to come in and replace the first rounder you took last year. So doesn't
I mean, how did Caleb Von Chasen do this year? Do you know?
he did decently, he was better in the run game than he was against the pass. I think he's got the raw tools. He just needs to put together some pass rush moves that can consistently win. But you don't move on from a first round pick after 1 year, in my opinion.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
And I mean, Josh Allen's just a freaking dog.
Yeah,
So
it is Josh Allen.
yeah, it's Josh Allen. That kid's he's just good. He's just good. I can't say anything else about him. He's just freaking great.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Cleveland. This is where I have Azeez Ojulari going, and Drew's got Asante Samuel Jr. I think this is a little bit of a reach for Asante Samuel Jr.
I think it is too.
But, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Browns, don't need secondary help, but, it's kind of not a necessity in my opinion.
Yeah, I think if the Browns go anywhere in the secondary, it's safety. But I've got Jeremiah Owasu Koroma coming off the board here. They need linebacker help. I did consider an edge, but they just brought in Clowney, so took that off the board. And then Asante Samuel Jr., I think he's great. I don't care about his size. I think he's a really good player. I think he's one of the top 10 picks in the second round. And I think Cleveland's already got Greedy Williams, Denzel Ward, a couple of other guys at corner. So linebacker made the most sense. And JOK is really versatile. I think I saw he was like the number one graded defender guarding the slot last season in college football. And he's a linebacker covering the slot, which is
Did not
ridiculous.
know that.
But he's just all-around chess piece, kind of like Isaiah Simmons was last year. I like him a lot there, 26 for the Browns.
All right. Moving on, Baltimore. Drew's got Rashad Bateman. I got Tevin Jenkins. This is where I have the slide stopping for Tevin Jenkins. I'm not going to say a slide. This is honestly, he can go anywhere between probably 17 and 32, to be honest. Danny, who you got?
Terrace Marshall Jr., LSU receiver.
I like it.
Yeah.
So wait, okay. I got you. I'm not gonna argue that just because Terrence
They've got a lot of
Marshall's another good
smaller-
one.
They've got a lot of smaller receivers there, so they come in to get a big body guy, touchdown scoring machine. I
6'3"
think
though.
it kind of knocks everyone down a peg. So Marquise Brown can really just thrive in that role as a deep threat. Terrace Marshall's your possession receiver, who's also a deep threat, who also is a red zone threat. There is some concerns with his knee, but I think he does come off the board here, and the Ravens get their big body receiver.
Okay. New Orleans. Drew's got Gregory Newsom, Greg Newsom, whatever, going here. This is where I have Asante Samuel. I think that here I am saying that he's a second round pick, and I have him going here. I guess I didn't think that comment through, but but it is what it is. They need a corner. I think that they reach here.
Yeah, I think corner's a huge need for them. I think linebacker is a bit of a bigger need for them, just barely. I have them taking Zaven Collins here, just because Demario Davis is the only linebacker that they have, and they run a 4-3. They need 3 inside linebackers. You only have 1 right now. Math doesn't add up. Zaven Collins is there. Makes sense to
Very
me.
true. All right, Green Bay Packers. Drew's got Terrence Marshall Jr. here. I have Kadarius Toney.
I have Elijah Moore. So we've all got receivers. I think all 3 of those guys work.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you put any receiver in there. Once again, they still haven't drafted a receiver in the first round
Yeah.
ever since Aaron Rodgers has been there. Aaron
I
Rodgers
think it ends
was
this
last
year.
year. Yeah, last year the streak ended because he threw a pass to freaking Tavon Austin, of all
Yeah.
people. But
Which is crazy, but
yeah, it's freaking wild. That's just how stupid of a front office are you? Anyway, Buffalo Bills. We both have Travis Etienne.
this is where the Colts come back for me, and they take left tackle out of Notre Dame, Liam Eichenberg. Eichenberg.
Yeah, it's totally 100%. Also, wait, what did we?
I've
have
seen-
this
I've seen the Bills taking a running back though. I don't agree with it. You took Devin Singletary a few years ago. You took Zach Moss last year.
Yep.
I think again, too smart of a franchise to take a running back in the first round.
Well, here's the only reason why I went Etienne. They're not sold on either. I mean, clearly
Yeah.
the Zach Moss experiment has, like you said, failed. I don't think that they believe at all in Singletary anymore. So I think that they're looking for a guy that they can kind of, get more involved in the pass game. Etienne's the best pass catching back in this draft, in my opinion. So with that being said, I think they get Etienne. They get a more versatile back to help Josh Allen out, quick dump or just run the short route. But that's why I went Etienne.
Yeah. I see that.
Drew, anything?
No, I wanted to put EDN in the first round for fun. I wanted to put some more fantasy guys in there, and the Bills would be pretty much the only spot that you could put him in, and they could do it. I don't think that he will go in the first round, but I wanted to throw some fun in there.
I don't think him and Najee both go in the first round, but like you said,
I think Najee will late.
I
think some team will take him.
No, without a doubt. I think so too. But that was once again another one of those reaches to where Etienne goes to the Bills, and we didn't have trades. So I would have, if I could have done it different. I think kind of Buffalo tries to move up and get something different as well, but who knows? With all that, we just once again didn't decide to deal with all that. But moving on to 31, Baltimore. He's got Jalen Mayfield. This is where I have Gregory Rousseau going. They had severe problems on their defensive line last year whenever Calais Campbell was out, and they couldn't get to the pass, or they couldn't get to the quarterback. So that's where I have the Rousseau slide ending.
I've got Creed Humphrey coming off the board here. They went through 2 different centers last year. They need to solidify their interior offensive line. That's why their run game took a step back. Marshall Yonder retired at guard, but I think Creed Humphrey comes in, solidifies things in the middle. I do like Rousseau
That's a reach,
here.
though.
It's a little bit of a reach, but I think he's the best center in the draft, and I think those types of guys can stick in the league for about 15 years. So, but I like Rousseau because they lost Matt Judon. And who's the other guy?
What do you mean, Calais? Or wait, what?
No. Who did each of you guys have picking?
Oh no, I had Russo, and he had
Jalen
Oh,
Mayfield.
Jalen Mayfield to replace
Jalen
Orlando Brown on the right
Drew,
side.
stop
I think
typing.
Mayfield's a bit
Stop
of a reach.
typing.
Yeah, I think Mayfield's a little bit of a reach. I like Creed Humphrey more, but
Okay.
I see all three as positions of need.
You're right. I just I don't know if they have a second round pick. I don't think they
They
do.
gave it to KC.
Yeah, okay. So then the reach would make sense because you don't have a second round pick. That's where Creed's supposed to go, second round. So I can see it. And finally, Drew. This is where Drew has the Rousseau slide ending. I have them going Landon Dickerson.
I have
This is a
Jason.
team. Who do you have?
Jason Owu.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. It's just a team without a need. That's just you throw anything there. He's going to be a backup.
Yeah,
So I don't think there's any much no
I
reason to talk about that one.
I had Trayvon Merrick there, but then the way things shook, he ended up going 25 to the Jaguars. And there's no other safety worth taking in the first round, in my opinion. So I went Owu to play rotational pass rush situation.
Think about Trayvon and Antoine Winfield Jr.
Yeah, would be nice, but I don't think he gets
That
past
would
the
be-
Jaguars.
That'd be crazy.
That's also a
Wow.
trade back spot too. That's a trade back spot.
Yeah, without a doubt. If it were me, I would trade that 32 spot out for like potentially. I don't know. You may be able to get like a first with a bad team or with a good team next year for it if they're looking to trade back into the first round. So yeah, I definitely take like a first and maybe like a fifth for it. I mean, it's 32. It's still pretty valuable, but in terms of first round value, I just
I
obviously.
think a couple of mid round picks will get it done, depending on who's
Think
moving
so?
up, how far they're moving up. Could be a second rounder, could be a third rounder, could be a mixture of like a second and a fourth. Just depends on how far they're coming up.
I think if you trade it to like Baltimore or not Baltimore, why did I say Baltimore? If you trade it to like Cleveland or like a Pittsburgh or a Green Bay or a Bills, I think that's whenever you can get that first round because you know that it's going to be like a 25 to 32 pick next year.
Yeah, possibly.
That's where I think you can get a first. But once again, that is a reach. But gentlemen, that's concluding it for our NFL first round mock draft. Any news y'all would like to talk about? Anything pop up? I mean, there's a lot of news going around right now in the draft. Got a couple minutes if y'all want to talk about something.
Oh man, I just think this is gonna be one of the craziest drafts we've ever seen with all the quarterbacks.
Facts.
Yeah, it's gonna be a ton of fun, and I think there's a lot of good value day 2 and day 3 of this draft, especially on the offensive side of the ball. If you're looking for defenders, it's more next year, but sorry if your team needs defense. My team is everything. I know your team needs defense. Austin, your Dolphins are pretty good on the defensive side of the ball, so you can kind of hold off for a year. But it's going to be a crazy draft. Really excited. I'm excited to see Bear Hugs on the draft.
Oh, yeah, first year back in the freaking stadium or back in the venue, whatever you want to call
Back
it.
in Cleveland, big Bear Hugs to the commish, even though no one likes the commish. It'll be more of a regular draft atmosphere, sense of normalcy. So excited for it.
Drew, you like the Cowboys?
I do like the Cowboys.
Okay, I was just making sure.
It's right here.
Oh yeah, I do see that now. Yeah, thinking about it. No, yeah.
We'll
you're
get our
right.
defender. We're good.
We got. Oh, I also want to thank you too. I mean, not only did y'all give us, like basically 3 first round picks, but y'all also gave us McKinney too. Oh,
We did.
yes. I'm so happy about that too. That's awesome. I don't care. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, right? Am I wrong about that?
So, yeah, McKinney, I think that was a good trade for both of us. Shaq Lawson wasn't good for y'all's scheme. He's better for our scheme. You guys needed a big Mike in the middle of your defense with Kyle Van Noy gone. I think McKinney works out well for y'all. If he
And he
recovers
stuffs to
from his
run. That's the number one thing that I absolutely hate. Every team runs all over us, and he stuffs
he
to
can
freaking
stop
run.
it. He can stuff the
Yeah.
run. You're gonna like him if that's what you want out of him.
A fact. I couldn't care less as long as he stops to freaking run. Because the last 2 years I have just seen big play after big play after big play from the freaking running back position from the Dolphins, or when they play the Dolphins, and it pisses me off so much. Drew, any last comments?
Austin, I beat you in fantasy basketball. Moved on to the next round. Take that. It's going to be a good NFL draft weekend. Kellen Mond's going to go in the first 3 rounds, and then I get ice cream from my dad because I made a bet with him on that. And the Cowboys will do well. A lot of fun fantasy football stuff that's going to come out of this. It's going to be a fun weekend.
That's gonna be a really fun fantasy draft though for our dynasty league.
Yes,
be
I am
really
excited.
fun.
I have the 5th overall pick. We don't know who 1 through 4 is due to it's got a lottery, but I am the locked in 5th pick, and Austin's
sucks.
behind me, so I can talk whatever I want, and I am definitely going receiver or tight end.
Wait, time out. I'm behind you, so you can talk. Should that mean I can talk? I finished second.
No,
so
I'm saying
tragic.
I can talk about my pick.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if
That's
you, for example, if you're like, man, I want Trevor Lawrence, right? Then I'm gonna be like, ooh, I could get Trevor Lawrence. Now that example doesn't matter because I'm not picking a quarterback. I got 4 amazing quarterbacks, but I'm gonna be going with wide receiver, tight end, and so once they all slot in, then I can kind of say, okay, if this guy gets picked, then I can pick him. Blah blah blah. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I would like to say you boys can squabble over your 5th and 6th picks. I am my Dynasty League champion, so I will be picking last. And proudly.
That is just so.
I had injuries.
He had injuries.
I did.
My team just didn't come to show. Like, so it was me and this other guy. Literally, we were just neck and neck the entire season. Both of the times that we played each other in the season, both of my starting running backs were out. Literally, both times they were freaking like 6 weeks apart, and of course, both times they were both out. So, we get to the finals. I was like, I got him this time. I got everybody, and just everybody underperforms. Everybody underperforms, and I'm just like, bro. And so I'm looking to. I have crazy wide receiver depth. I mean, I got Jacobs and Kamara as running backs.
Jacobs
So-
though, gone.
I took McCaffrey number 1 overall, and I had Galladay both out most of the season. But I handcuffed Mike Davis, who ended up having a good season.
smart.
Yeah, same.
I had Aaron Jones, who had that hamstring issue for a couple weeks. I handcuffed Jamal Williams. So
I don't.
it's
like
all
Jamal Williams.
about playing the game.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I definitely got Mike Davis in that league. In our dynasty league, I got Mike Davis for the year, and I got a few good weeks out of him. Who else did I get? I do have Galladay. I have Galladay, Metcalf, and Robert Woods. So I'm kind of looking to get like a third because Robert Woods doesn't score. Obviously, he hasn't done the last 2 years. So I'm looking to get like a solid like third piece, and then Robert Woods is like a solid 4.
You should tell him about all the trades that I made with you.
Oh yeah, so for lack of a better word, I fucked up. Okay.
Oh man,
I fucked up. I don't know what I was thinking. I was at work. I wasn't thinking right. And here I am. I go and I trade Justin Herbert away.
in a
4.
dynasty league.
Yeah. And well, I don't need quarterbacks. I don't need quarterbacks. I have like
Doesn't matter. I have
have-
all the quarterbacks.
I have Kyler. Now I have Matt Stafford because that's one of the pieces that I got.
Matt Stafford for
Matt
him.
Stafford and a couple other people too.
I gave you Juju. I
that's
got
nice.
Herbert, and I got Austin Hooper because I needed a tight end. Like I literally had nobody. But
Yeah, but
Daniel, I'm just telling you, I drafted Dak. Okay, good
Oh.
pick. So
Yeah.
that was, I mean,
Good pick.
young guy,
Good
right?
pick.
Well, he gets hurt, so I have Stafford as a backup, and I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to do? So what do I do? I go to this man over here. Sorry, I go to this man over here, and I say, hey, can I have Justin Herbert? He goes, yeah, sure, I can have him. And then I'm also talking to other people at the same time because you got to be talking to multiple people.
Yeah, of course.
And I talk to
Of
Nick,
course.
Mr. Nick White, and I say,
Shut
hey.
up, Daniel.
I say, hey, can I have Joe Burrow? Also, can I have J.K. Dobbins? And I send him pennies.
All
I
right.
send him pennies.
That was a bigger was
Oh
a bigger
my
just
God.
F up
Dobbins
to
and
begin.
Burrow in the same trade.
You
Right.
have no idea.
Is
You
it
have
a
no
2
idea. I was
QB?
pissed. Well,
It's one, and then to make it
it's a
all
one
better,
QB, that's the thing.
to make it all better, I also picked up Jalen Hurts, and so
Yeah.
I
There's all
am.
that running potential there.
I'm actually wanting to trade away one of my 4 quarterbacks because
Yeah.
I don't need 4. So I'm trying to get a little higher up in the draft because my tight ends are not so good and wide receivers I could use a little better. But no, I'm
literally
ready
you have
for the
quarterbacks
nice.
and nothing else. I
No,
have
that's not
everything
true.
else, and I
No.
have I don't have
No, no,
quarter.
no, no, no.
Technically, I have Kyler. It doesn't matter.
Have you seen my running backs?
Well,
me
now
get
you have
into it.
J.K. Dobbins and
Okay,
whatever.
I drafted Saquon with the second overall pick. He got hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I didn't do well. Well, he's a good pick. Well, I also drafted Jonathan Taylor as a rookie. He's looking good moving
I got
forward.
Cam Akers.
I have J.K.
All right,
Dobbins. I also have Joe Mixon.
J.K.'s a big toss-up, though, because there's multiple running backs on that team.
Nope. Mark Ingram's
doesn't-
gone.
Bro,
Gus Bus-
Mark Ingram's gone, you're right, but freaking
Gus
Gus
Edwards,
is still,
whatever. Okay, sure.
he's going to
my-
take every touchdown close
sure,
up, bro.
Put him as my 4th running
Yeah, he
back
will.
behind Joe Mixon, Saquon, and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
ridiculous.
Joe
I-
Mixon is just
He's gonna
madly
dominate
inconsistent.
the league. He's
I'm
gonna
just
dominate
saying.
the league for the next however many years. he wants
Okay,
to.
but so
I also
look,
got
look.
Amari Cooper to pair with Dak. Just give me Kyle Pitts. That's all I'm wanting right now.
Yeah.
It's over.
I got Kyler, Kamara, and Jacobs, and then I got DK and Galladay, Robert Woods. I got Robert Tunyon. I need a better tight end, but Tunyon's just kind of doing it for me, I guess. I got Cam Akers, Kareem Hunt, Henry Ruggs, Laviska Shenault, who I'm actually excited for next year. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
I like Laviska Shenault a lot, especially with Trevor Lawrence coming in.
Juju, I'm waiting for Zach Ertz to get traded. Just
Yeah.
waiting. He's just waiting in the wings. I picked him up off waivers. I got him for like a $3 what's it called? Fab, which is great. But waiting to see what he does. So it's like I'm just lacking a backup quarterback. And I got a couple of inconsistent wide receivers, aka Robert Woods and Juju. But the other two are freaking rock solid. That's all I'm saying.
Dynasty League, I gotta give Drew the edge here. His
No,
roster
you're right.
is pretty ridiculous.
He got hold last year because of Dak and Saquon. So
Yeah,
that's
but this
really
year-
the only thing.
This
And
year,
also Amari went
Oh, yeah.
down.
I think your biggest concern this year is going to be leaving extra points off the bench because everybody's scoring too much, which is not a
Basically,
bad
and
problem.
that's a good reason to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem.
But yeah, no. Daniel, you're always, if you, I know you have like 7 leagues, but if you
Yeah,
want to do one,
I'm pretty-
we always have
Pretty
spots.
heavy in the fantasy game.
Yeah. So,
But-
but if you miss out on some or whatever, so y'all don't get it together and do them, whatever if you're looking for another one, just hit me up.
I will hit you up for sure.
But with that being said, we're going to end the broadcast here. Just saying. We're going to end the broadcast here. Appreciate everybody tuning in, commenting, liking, supporting, sharing, whatever y'all did. Really means a lot to me. Really means a lot to us. And Daniel, you are very much more than welcome to come on any podcast episode you want. Specifically, if it's football, I'll hit you up. But if you have any other wants, needs to be on the episode, I don't care. You can come on. But with that being said, appreciate everybody. We'll see y'all next time.